Please give this video a like and subscribe!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame. The Manosphere isn't girl bossing right, where we're going to be talking a little bit about Louis Theroux's new documentary on the Manosphere and an accompanying Guardian article. Now, full disclosure, I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I am planning to watch it soon, I guess. Yeah, it should be enlightening. So we're going to look at the trailer, and then we're going to look at this Guardian article that is called, "Surely if you rule the Manosphere, you can be your own boss. These influencers aren't even that." So yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
But before we get started, Allison?
Yeah, because, they're running a business and they're doing work related to running a business and research and making sure that they provide a product that their customers want. And apparently this woman thinks that in order to have it made, I suppose you spend your days drinking matcha lattes and avocado toast, and that's it. And then doing a couple emails. That is the girl boss job that she's comparing these men to. All right. So if you want to send us a message at any point throughout the show, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Very best way for you to send us a tip and whatever comment you want to make on this content with that tip. And once again, well, not once again, in the future at some point, the fundraiser will be available at feedthebadger.com/support. So please do consider going to that in the future. And then also, if you want to join our community, badgernation.online. And let's start. Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to open up by looking at the trailer, or a trailer. I think there's a couple of them. This is a 2-minute trailer for Louis Theroux's Inside the Manosphere. For those of you guys who don't know, I guess, well, let's find out who he is. Who is Louis Theroux? I believe he has done like a series of documentaries, or it's like what he's known for, but I think he's also a comedian or something. You know how these things go. So it should be a good time. So Louis Theroux is a British-American documentary filmmaker, journalist, broadcaster, author, and podcaster, widely regarded as one of the most distinctive and acclaimed figures in modern documentary television. So there you go. He has done things on the Westboro Baptist Church. He has done documentaries on prisons, like Prisons and Crime. He's done them on Scientologists, gambling, the porn industry, autism, and other things. So this is his next topic, I misspoke, is the Manosphere. So let's take a look at this trailer for his new Netflix documentary, Inside the Manosphere.
I normally train a little bit earlier in the day. I like to start my day off working out, doing hard things. Who are you talking to? What, do I not talk to them? Don't talk to him. Talk to you.
We're not on social media now.
So that's his opening, is to, I guess this guy is some kind of social media influencer, Manosphere guy. I don't even know who that is. That doesn't mean that it's not true. I don't necessarily follow everyone, but you have to wonder about who he decides to
interview.
Highlight.
Well,
yeah, interview.
In this case, he's probably a fitness guy.
Yeah, it looks, well, they're in a gym outdoors. He's obviously fit. I think he's a fitness guy, yeah. Which is, I guess, basically caring about your health and wanting to stay fit is a Manosphere thing.
Yeah, it is a Manosphere thing now. It's a toxic masculinity thing. Also,
yeah,
I
it's
like
also
how
a white supremacist thing and a far right thing.
I like how the interviewer has already attempted to humiliate his audience or his target.
Yep.
and thus create a sense of dominance over. But that's acceptable because no doubt he has the progressive bona fides. But that's like, I mean, well, maybe he's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to humanize him. Seems more like this is trying to humiliate him. But
well, you can tell by the kind of like humorous whimsical music that's playing. Oh,
yeah,
look
they always
how
reach
dumb
for
he
that.
is.
They always reach for that, don't they? Like when Vice did its article on us way back in the great past, or the misty past, it used the clown music. And then because we're simultaneously the most frightening thing in the world, but also the most hilarious and incompetent.
Yeah, easily dismissed.
And
also
stupid.
Frightening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's not just the playlist of every ideologue in terms of their scapegoat group. For them, they've really figured it out. Like, first time in human history, they know who to dehumanize. They know they've got the right target. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
What would you say is the message?
I coach boys how to make money,
Wow, this is a nice spot.
how to be outside the system, how to be proper guys.
Shut up or nut up.
Would you see me that way?
The
Did you look at my arms?
stature's not saying too much.
I was in.
Okay.
You asked.
Yeah. Let me turn on the advanced scene switcher here.
Okay.
So we can get so yeah. You can see they're setting the tone, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you can attack this, like, just wanting to be in shape. And he's like, oh, I see you're looking at my arms. Are you trying to, like, make him look like he's closeted gay or something? Is that the joke?
Who knows? Let's watch it again.
Okay. Let me go back a little bit so we can see it.
How to be proper guys.
Shut up or nut up.
Would you see me that way?
The
Did you look at my arms?
stature's not saying too much.
I was entering the Manosphere, a wild frontier of streamers whose behavior is reshaping the culture.
People ask me why Miami, and I tell them because if it was 100
So let me ask you something. Being rich, being hot, being muscular, and having that as a ideal is radically shaping the society and what men think are goals that they should pursue. This is radically shaping that. Like this doesn't seem to be a change at all. This is what I'm getting at? He's saying this is radically shaping. It's not, this is, when did this stop? Like, was there a point where being fit, being rich, and being stoic wasn't something that women found attractive? Like,
yeah, it's almost like they have there's something wrong with ambition itself.
Yes.
Like, essentially, right? And this is like, not all men are going to pursue this path, but some will. And I don't think that there's I don't know that it's useless information. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, certainly it's not useless information, but what I'm saying is that this is not a radical departure from anything. Now, maybe what's radical is that we no longer have the attendant virtues and ethics that we used to, that you might associate with older men, like the free market system, risk, and all of this stuff. But I mean, it's still, it's not a fundamental change in what men always saw as being attractive and wanted to pursue. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like the fitness, like men's fitness was just discovered 4 years ago by the Manosphere. It's like, no. What are you trying to say?
I mean, like, by that, yeah, like what even is the Manosphere really? Like are the men in the Manosphere defining the Manosphere, or are people like Louis Theroux and the Guardian defining the Manosphere? Because I feel like I don't think that going to the gym is the Manosphere.
No.
So,
nor is it something that's radically changed. I'm pretty sure. I remember there being gyms in the 80s. Probably there were gyms in the 70s.
There were gyms in the 10s.
Yeah.
Of the 1910s, I mean.
Yeah. Like this idea of pursuing fitness as like a masculine virtue has a very long history. And then suddenly it's invented by the Manosphere like 4 years ago. That's what I'm getting at. He's like, suddenly they're influencing. And then the other thing is the only thing this guy we know about this guy is he apparently does finance and fitness. Now that's the Manosphere, right? That's what qualifies. But honestly, what it really seems to be is that men exist at all, and that men do anything that men would be inclined to do. You know, that they just exist at all. That men exist, and this man, you know, he's taken that personally. Other men exist. This dude is taking it personally and making a documentary on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue.
On the way to California to dig for gold.
What?
Whose appeal has proved irresistible.
What? That seems really winnowed. Like he's going to California to dig for gold.
Well,
Why would
yeah,
you
I don't
go
know
to
the context.
California?
I think he's like letting that like
Just sit there.
little statement just float there and let the audience figure it out, and which I'm sure is intended to be done in the most charitable way possible. I would just say, well, I don't know what that means. Maybe he means that's where there's opportunity to make money.
Yeah, or I don't know. I don't think you're going to find much gold
Or there's
in
literal
California.
gold there. I don't know. I
Lots
don't
of
think
commies,
so,
though. Social strife. All right, so what's going on here? Let's see.
All right, so now they're showing us. I know some of these guys, like that guy that was saying I saw him on the Whatever podcast before. He's been on that. I think that's how he sort of raises. I don't know who he is though. I don't know his name. And then we are going to cut to Sneeko, who is big, who's a relatively big streamer. Again, I'm not sure this is Manosphere, but
whose appeal has proved irresistible to hordes of young fans.
15 is probably like your main demographic.
No, it isn't.
They hear that content, they think it's acceptable.
What?
What have I done?
I'm doing it for money.
that was a viral clip that went out.
Is that the only thing that happened?
Yeah, some kid, because he's got a lot of young fans. A lot of these guys probably have young followers, young male followers.
And that's actually stressing out the establishment, because boys should be mentored by contemptuous middle-aged women, and their social structure should be Canadian healthcare. That's their support system, is some Canadian healthcare. So being abused by middle-aged women, and then if they need support, they can get some Canadian healthcare, which I think you all know is what a euphemism of, and that's perfect. That's what they want. And the fact that these guys like these entertainers, is PewDiePie also considered part of the Manosphere? How about, I'm pretty sure Asmongold.
I mean, he hasn't made videos in a while. He doesn't do it that often, but when he was making content, absolutely. PewDiePie was absolutely like far right, evil, etc.
Asmongold now, is he considered part of the Manosphere?
Asmongold, yep, the Roach King.
Yeah, but he's not being interviewed in this. So,
No.
but also, here's the thing. You know that this bombing somebody who's doing a broadcast has a long history, and usually the way that people would do this was they'd say something offensive or shocking. You know, they'd run across some newscaster would be doing a cast, and you would see like young men or boys just run across, say something really, really really shocking or offensive, and then run away. Like, this is not new. And it's you're making something out of this.
That guy, you know, the sunglasses that would show up. Well, I mean, yeah, I think that they were on microphone, and it was like a live thing, and this kid just said something. He probably just wanted to say like whatever would be the most, agree. We don't know what his intentions were, and it's sort of irrelevant, because Sneeko was like, "What have I done?" And maybe in a part he was playing along too. He was like, "Oh my God, it's terrible,"
Yeah, exactly.
Silly. Like it's just silly, and it's almost like they don't understand the way men joke around. Like the way men horse around is, let's say, disquieting to women and men like Thoreau.
Yeah. Well, the existence of other men is probably disquieting to Thoreau. I'm getting the sense that he's like, no, there shouldn't be other men. It should just be me and the women. And that's it. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm doing it for money. I don't care about
The morality of it.
I'm not living for other people. I'm living for myself.
What's the morality of making money? What's the morality?
Is there yeah?
Well, no, I mean, it's a serious question though, because the clip. Okay, let's look at it again. Okay, we're not seeing anything bad happen. We're just seeing him say, "I'm here to make money." Let's listen to that again.
I'm doing it for money. I don't care about
The morality of it.
Well,
So
yeah.
he's saying this with like a certain kind of sullenness, like, "Oh my God, you don't care about morality." But this guy didn't say, "I'm willing to turn like Chinese women into slaves to like make me money." He just said, "I only care about money." And the truth of it is these women on the boat that he owns also don't care about anything else but what they
the
want.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're literally that's why they're sitting there as a group of women, a harem, if you will, in bikinis on a boat, because they also don't care. But is he going to make a documentary about women? No, of course not.
Or the fact that that's the primary metric why men are able to get married is they make more than average. Like if single men made as much as married men, they'd probably be married. And also the single biggest factor for divorce is a man losing his job. Of course, he's not going to say any of that. He's not going to talk about, well, this is actually a pressure that women put on men. They expect them to provide, but possibly well above what is reasonable. They expect them to provide. That's why he has 5 women probably in a rotation around him.
Yeah, you might. I mean, it's almost like you have to ask yourself, why do these men exist? Like,
why do they exist?
Why are they so popular? What is it that is motivating?
What does he mean by morality in this instance? Because I get what you're saying. It's like he's actually poisoning the well here. Guy's making money. There's no indication that he's doing anything immoral. He's just showing fitness content and financial content. I doubt this man who is in this casting moral aspersions and virtue signaling his cock everywhere. That would be the documentarian, because that's what he's doing. He's virtue signaling how large his virtue cock is in this entire thing, starting from humiliating the guy. And now I will stand behind the first few seconds being an intentional humiliation of his subject to this. And there's no indication the guy's doing anything immoral. Fitness and finance. Is he going to say that this man is encouraging boys and young men to take damaging supplements? Is he going to allege that this man is encouraging fraud in finance? Because that would relate morally to what he's doing. But that's not what he's doing, is he? He's letting that you don't care about it morally just poison the well and what this dude is doing with no receipts. No receipts. Well, at least not in the trailer.
Also, well, another thing is that this is a trailer, so the purpose of it is to make you go, "Ooh, I wonder what he's getting at. I wonder what immoral thing this guy has done." So it is like working as a marketing tool to get you to want to watch the movie. Although you're basically a captured audience, because like it used to be the case that if you made a film, your film only made money if people went to the theater to watch it. But if you make a film for streaming services, then you probably don't need to worry about people watching it, because the streaming they're already paying for the streaming service.
Yeah. So
that's the shame. Yeah, Metallica, Sneeko's a Muslim. I know, and that's the thing too, is that's why I'm saying, like, how is this Manosphere content? Unless I think Sneeko is actually he promotes Islam on his streams. I don't watch them really, but he does, right? Or at least he talks about how Islam is compatible with, like whatever else he promotes. But like I said, I don't really watch his content. So, but anyway, all right.
I don't care about
The morality of it.
I'm not living for other people. I'm living for myself.
Okay, that's also
So he says, "I'm not living if I'm not living for myself."
Okay, are you going to operationalize that, sir? Like documentarian, No, of course not. He's just going to let it float around like a fart.
Yeah,
Is he
you're supposed
engaging
to
in
just-
fraud? Is he encouraging his audience to engage in activities that harm themselves? Fitness and finance, guys. Fitness and finance. That's what this man is doing. He's not even a pickup artist. Like, they literally do not like the fact that other men exist. They just don't like anything that men do or that they have any place to stand. It's like they just don't want men. They don't want them to exist. They don't want masculinity to exist. They don't want men to exist. They just want you all to fuck off into the ocean and go drown.
The other thing too is, again, like, these guys are basically trying to solve for women that are trying to get that bag while keeping their own bag. They're literally responding to the female dating strategy, and what they're treating it like a game where if I have enough that those women will want me, then I will be able to basically have my pick of the litter from multiple women, which is why that guy can have a bunch of women on his boat. So it's like they're basically they're trying to match or exceed the energy of
the women,
these modern women. And so when he says the morality of it is what's missing, you're only looking at half of the equation. Because if you were to ask me, have we a crisis with things like meaning and morality and the immaterial or the transcendent, I would say yes, absolutely. But I would also say women are as much a part of that problem as men are, if not more so, because when the women say, I want this, and they're only talking about material things, the men are trying to solve for that. They're like, well, we got to give them that. And so they basically try to get that. Some of them don't bother. Probably most of them don't bother because they're like, well, it's not worth it. But the few that can, they make that effort. So you're just looking at the solution or the other half of an equation, and you're basically blaming that half of the equation for the entire situation. You haven't even completed it yet. You're not even looking at the fact that these guys would not exist if women weren't looking for guys that specifically have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, exactly. Well, you remember that I'm going to go back to this over and over again because it just was a perfect visual example of the problem of dating. The panel where you had the guys, you know, they looked like they were ready to take responsibility, to have families, to provide for their families. You know, so they were in an ethical place where they were expecting to step up, you know, not be the recognize where they may not be doing the right thing or whatever. That's what they were demonstrating. They were demonstrating that they had some form of principles. So the men were moral, they were ethical, they had principles, right? The one even said, I'm single because I can't find a woman who really matches my principles. And then you look on the other side and you have a bunch of dysregulated baboons who want money and does he look good, right? It's like, well, if that's what women want, guess what men are going to be? And those guys who've decided to stick to their guns, they don't have 4 women hanging out on their yachts. Like that one dude is like, I can't find a woman who's, you know, she's not like, she's functional. Like she has some kind of ethical system. I can't find a partner, basically, is what he was saying. Well, he can't find a partner because he's not going to go after a bunch of gold-digging women in bikinis. He wants an actual wife to build a family with. Well, guess what? Guess what women are incentivizing right now? Like exactly what you said, Brian. And it was in that freaking panel. You could see it. That one woman, the slut who is actually self-aware, she's like, I can't... you know, all these men that have 16 women orbiting them. And I'm like, I don't think that's all men, madam. That's just the men you see because you're a slut. But, you know, it's like, and again, these guys are trying to be what they think women want, like what you said. And that, are you distracted? Like you?
No, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the screen. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just like, are you paying attention to something I should be paying attention to? But anyway.
No.
Okay. So anyway, it's like that. Yeah, you just see it right in that panel. You have men who are ready to step up, and you have women who do nothing but step down and probably pass out on street corners. Like, and it's like, what do you do? If women don't want men who are moral, then men are going to be like this. Well, some men, and the men who aren't willing to do it aren't going to have partners. They're not going to have families. Right. And maybe, and this is something he will never address. This documentarian will never address that these guys aren't just deciding one day to be, according to him, horrible. Right. They're responding to something. Okay, let's keep going.
Yep, they're exactly. Well, yeah, let's keep going.
Children. She doesn't talk to other men.
We don't cross into each other's lane.
Stings, huh?
What does that mean?
Okay, let's go back. So I think that he's basically saying he agreed, him and his woman. So it's not like he's, I don't know. Let's listen.
The mother of my children. She doesn't talk to other men.
We don't cross into each other's lane.
Stings, huh? You seem upset by it.
So he's like, my woman doesn't talk to other men. And she's like totally okay with that. We don't cross each other's lane. That's what she said. And this guy, I mean, he's supposed to see that as, extremely troubling. I mean,
yeah, because he should have access to all the women.
Yeah.
Because he's a sneaky fucker. He wants to get in there. This isn't virtue on his part. It's actually intersectional competition. And all he's doing is just showing off his virtue cock every single frickin' scene of this. Right? And the dude, like, yeah, I mean, he's sort of an extreme version, but that is something you might expect from a guy with a very strong vasopressin bond to, his mate. So he doesn't want her around other men. Okay, and if she's fine with that, so be it. Like, that's their thing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If she's fine with that, but of course he can't see it as something that she could agree with unless she's actually, like it's like she's silently crying for help. It's kind of like earlier he shows a woman earlier in the trailer. I want to cut to it real quick. Who basically like has like a tee-hee reaction. Let me jump ahead back here.
Saying too much.
I was entering the Manosphere, a wild frontier of streamers whose behavior is reshaping the culture.
People ask me why Miami, and I tell them because if it was 120 years ago, I'd be on a horse on the way to California to dig.
Very performative, this man.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Wait, where's the bimbo at? There was a bimbo.
Yeah,
chick.
I know exactly what you're saying. But the thing is that what he's doing here is he's signaling that he has a right to his woman because he's the one with her interests in mind. Right? He's the one who knows what she really wants. And he's the one who can save her from his big dick energy, I guess. Although I don't know. He seemed really freaking performative to me, but whatever. I don't.
Which the guy with the sunglasses and shit?
Yeah, the guy with the
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of that because I have seen some clips, and I mean, to me it seems like relatively like shallow and performative. I'm not saying that the guy doesn't have any of the things that he claims he has, but at the same time, like I don't think he's hurting anybody acting that way. Like he's not. Like if he has something to offer, then that's great, right? That's just I don't care.
His woman is happy with it, fine. Let it be. It's just a personal taste. That's it's quite it's very theatrical. Let me put it that way.
Reverend Omen says, "Bruh, they get the most unintelligent men to be representatives of the Manosphere." Yeah, they select who they want to choose to represent the Manosphere. It's purposeful. Like I guess even though I have my problems with him. Rollo is nowhere to be seen in this video.
No.
And I mean, like, you can say whatever you want about Rollo, but if you were going to make a video about the Manosphere, I think that he would be one of the people included in it. Like, I don't think that would be like, a crazy thing,
a crazy idea. And he certainly would probably bring the discourse up a bit.
I think the reason is because he's not as easy to sort of like show to create an emotional reaction in the audience, because that's what the purpose of this documentary is. It's like, look at how, insanely, like, I don't know, like amoral these men are, because you can't really say, oh, they're actually poor or they're actually lonely or they're actually incels. Like, obviously none of that's true. There's like women around them and they do very well and they're popular and they're, you know, in good shape. So you can't attack any of those things. So what you have to do instead is go after their morality. You have to make them seem dangerous or secretly insecure or something else, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and there's no indication yet that the allegation that these guys are immoral is going to have any receipts.
No, you just have to say it, and because they look like, you know, like whatever the media portrays as like the bad guy, which is usually like the, you know, square-jawed white dude that has a lot of money, then that will work. It might be enough. You know, there's like this might be enough. And you can also like edit it so that the most incendiary things are what like get out. Like when he said stings, doesn't it? Like you obviously get the sense that he's like trying to mog the interviewer, but I think that actually that's going to do more damage to him than if anything, right?
And again, none of the actual concerns are being addressed. Like the more I research, the more I'm mapping the fault lines that feminism has created in our society. And these guys having these lavish lifestyles, having the bikini models hanging off of them so that their audiences can sort of live vicariously through their successes, that's like minuscule compared to the fact that the fempire makes it so that we are exploiting the productive layer of our society, and in exploiting it, we are destroying it. That should terrify people.
Well, they're legitimately a part of they were created by that system, so they are in a way a part of the system.
Which
like this manosphere, these guys that are like, you know, chasing, they have their own businesses and they're trying to get other men to like, you know, get in shape and all these things like chase down status. That's all a byproduct of the feminist system. It was created by that. And of course they would say it's a reaction to that, but I think that was always the play, because feminism needs a narrative that men oppress women, and anything that looks like that can be used. And these Manosphere guys, they kind of play into it. They don't just they absolutely play into it.
They're chosen because they do.
Yes. And so they become highlighted as the proof. And they think that, well, I'll just out Chad the whole thing. And sure, for themselves, they might be okay. But the problem is that whatever they do, the worst parts of it, and even the parts that wouldn't be considered bad by any normal metric, will be used to tar all men. To say this is all men, whatever these guys do. And there'll be regular men who already have it tough that their lives will be made harder by this.
Well, yeah, because it hides the issues that men are actually facing. Like these guys, these influencers wouldn't be so huge if they didn't have audiences living vicariously through them. Let's be honest. So when you actually create a situation where the average man has no hope of having a family, has no hope of having a wife, has no hope of having a house, then living vicariously through men who have lucked into the position of having those things, or even an abundance of those things, is something that's generated by the very pressure of the fact that the average man won't get those things. So now he can live through these guys. He can feel like he has a moment of having these things that the system itself has basically destroyed. And it's destroyed precisely because by what I'm saying. It has destroyed the productive layer that used to employ men. You know, that's where they would have that. And it's destroyed men's relationship to their own ethics. That's the other thing. Like he's talking about, oh, this is immoral. Well, where is feminism in terms of men's ethics? Like the ethics that come out of masculinity and being a man. Feminism basically says there is none, right? A man is only an inferior version of a woman, and only an inferior version of how women relate to the world in a moral way. So this guy is talking from a position where men probably don't have any ethics to pursue. They have to pursue women's ethics. right? And that doesn't, when you tell a generation of boys that they have no ethical frame that comes out of who they are as men and their masculinity, and you say that they're defective girls, you don't create men who are actually women and have women's particular version of ethics. You create men with no ethics. It's like literally, and I've said this over and over again. Andrew Tate was created by feminism. If you're going to point to him and say he doesn't have any morals, well, yes, because feminism broke the connection between young men and their morals. Like when you say that,
well, and women and their morals too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, women and their morals in a more
It tore
subtle
down
way.
morality itself, basically.
Yeah. But in particular, they said that men don't have an ethical, like, think about it.
No, I know. I get it.
Say that there is actually an ethical system that comes out of men and masculinity and how men relate to the world. They never say that. They say that men are inferior women and they're immoral women, basically. Well, there you go. This is the result. This is the result of castrating generation after generation after generation of boys and not telling them or not allowing them to develop an ethical frame around their masculinity. You get this. You get biggering, more bikini models, bigger yachts, bigger money. And then every other dude who will never get that because he hasn't lucked into it. And luck is a big part of this. Luck and who your family is, I'm guessing, for all of these guys. Like they're going to live through this vicariously. And the other thing is those guys on that that panel that we watched, perfectly moral, ready to step up, ready to have families, reasonably decent, normal guys, except they were all like, much more attractive than average, I would say. And they're not getting families. And they're not getting families because they are moral. And because they have nobody, no woman who's the equivalent of them. So it's like, this is like a gigantic ball of fuck, and it gets worse and worse and worse the more you trace the fault lines that have been created by feminism in our society and what feminism has colluded to create. So you look at this, we are reporting on the effects of feminism on men, guys. This dude is going and he's investigating the effects of feminism on men. And they're calling it the Manosphere. All right, let's keep going.
We don't cross into each other's lane.
Stings, huh? You seem upset by it. You seem upset by it.
Do you consider yourself a misogynist?
I love women and I actually understand them.
This is Myron Gaines from the Fresh and Fit podcast.
I'm sorry, sir. You don't understand women if you love them.
Well, I think that I don't know what he's going to say here, but again, remember, these videos do get edited.
Why do you have to love women? Like, what? Why is this necessary?
Well, Allison, like I said, these guys are still a product of feminism. Like, whether they think they're pushing against it or not, they're still operating within the framework, which is why I think Myron is like, he knows what he's dealing with, perhaps. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, I'm going to try and frame this in a way that the documentarian understands in the hopes that he'll be fair to me. But he must know on some level he won't be.
Yeah.
I believe Myron if he says he doesn't hate them, no lies detected. No, he doesn't. I don't think he does. But that's the thing. When you say, are you a misogynist? I mean, it's a bullshit question.
Yeah, it's a bullshit question.
There's no such thing. But, he doesn't want that for an answer. He wants a yes or a no. And he's expecting you to say no, because who the hell wants to be called that? I mean,
I'd probably say yes just to piss everyone off. Okay.
Yeah, but you wouldn't really mean it.
Well, what does that mean?
That's what I mean. Like I wouldn't like it, but
the thing is that I honestly the things that I see women engaging in now, and I'm not talking about it's just appalling. Like just the rampant misandry, the hatred of men, the dismissal, the contempt, the dysregulated behavior. I don't know what is there to like is my question. But anyway, I don't know if that's hatred. disappointment?
No, I don't think it's hatred.
Okay, let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going.
Understand them.
You think you know better than they do?
They want a guy that can lead them and dominate them.
Do you think you understand them more than they do? That's like, this is another thing too. This is such an old counter argument. By the way, this guy's hair is like disappearing. Just get a wig or shave it. Yeah, it's like a weird thing it's a very old thing. Like, do you think you know women better than women know themselves? Do you, you know how they always lean on that. It's like a common feminist tactic. Well, have you tried asking women what women think? As they also don't ask women what women think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would probably see to that. I'd probably say, yes, I actually do. Because women don't know what they want.
Well, you know what?
Women are waiting for men to tell them.
Actually,
most of
women
the time.
do.
But of course, that would piss women off, though. See, and
Okay,
if it pisses women off, then it must be a lie because women are feeling verklempt because you have basically said something they don't like. Therefore, you must be lying and evil.
Okay, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. I think women do know what they want. They're just not allowed to want it because of feminism. And it is a hell of a lot closer to what he said. Like, they don't want necessarily a dominant man that just rolls over all of their interests and, you know, is cruel or anything. They want dominance that's meant, like, I don't want to say like
Leadership.
Leadership. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
That's something that you can respect. And some of them apparently do want dominance that is absolutely destructive, judging from the dark romance sphere of things. Although that I could get into what that is. But I think actually, based on what my research is and what I see women willing to pay for, I think I have a better understanding of what women want than pencil neck here. And that is closer to what he's saying. With qualification that, as Brian said, they want leadership. They want competence. They want something they can respect, right? They want decisive action. They want men to look like they are men. And men tend to be, they have greater risk tolerance. They have greater tolerance of danger and discomfort. They have greater physical capability. They have stronger instincts when it comes to threat. So women want that. And there's no amount of head bobbling that this guy is going to do is going to change that. And I can tell him from the point of view of looking at these things and doing a lot of research, mining through the data when it comes to romance, that the dude who just said they want a dominant man, you know, who takes charge, much closer to the truth, much, much closer to the truth than whatever this guy thinks. All right.
Got anything to say to the live, Thoreau?
Not really. Do you think Satanists are running the world?
Absolutely.
They talk about misinformation on the internet. This is what.
So he says to Sneeko, remember, Sneeko's a Muslim, he's religious. And he says, do you think Satan runs the world? And he said, absolutely. And if he presents that like it's insane, but anyone who's religious would probably agree that, you know, we're run by evil forces that exist and we have to constantly resist them. I'm just saying, like, it's not an absurd notion.
I would outright say that the West is now run by Satan. Well, not literally Satan, but it's run by men and women who give no fucks about what they're doing and the disaster that they're creating, as long as they get theirs. Right? And I'm not saying it's just men. It's women too, women caping for these men.
Absolutely.
The robber barons and their moral busybodies caping for them. And hiding, graft, and in like civilization level theft from the future and from the taxpayer, hiding it behind DEI initiatives and other bullshit. So yeah, he's got a good case that we're actually being run by Satanists.
Yeah.
Probably literally. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, he says something about disinformation, so let's see.
This is what they're talking about.
Oh, let me go back a little bit.
Wait a second. Wouldn't this man say that society is a patriarchy, therefore it definitely is run by evil?
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't he agree?
Yeah,
that
wouldn't he eat the
if
rich?
you believe that the world is run by white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, that it is in fact run by the devil? Or maybe you're just like, well, it's an evil force of elites that are basically straight white men, Christians for some reason. But I don't want to call it Satan. That would be weird.
Well, why didn't he just go back when he said, "Oh, you think the world's run by Satanists? Well, do you think the world's run by the patriarchy?" Like, why wouldn't he zing back? Do you think the world is run by the patriarchy, which is the ultimate evil?
Yeah.
No, that's
dude. This guy's hair is terrible. What is this? What is this back here? Do you see that?
He's like going for the nebbish.
It's like a little like, oh my god. Okay.
Not really.
Oh, that was the palm tree. That wasn't his hairline. I was gonna say that's bad.
Got anything to say to the live, though?
Not really. Do you think Satanists are running the world?
Absolutely.
They talk about misinformation on the internet. This is what they're talking.
Okay, dude, you know what the Great Satan is? Are we going to go after the Muslims now? I'm guessing not, because he's British. Oh, he's looking so stoic. He's like, I can.
I don't know what this
I can feel the
is.
engorgement of my virtue right now. The dude in the scarf. I am so twee. I'm so virtuous.
I can't tell if it's cold there or moderate. Louis is like bundled up, but Sneeko is pretty relaxed in his hoodie.
Yeah.
Can't tell.
Who knows?
I'm guessing it's not that cold.
He's signaling something. Maybe it's a moist cold, you know?
Maybe. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, so he says when they talk about misinformation on the internet, this is what they mean. So I think that's kind of, I mean, we're not at the end of the trailer yet, but that seems to be like what the general thrust of this documentary is. Never mind the fact that it's easy to conclude what they're going to talk about since this is on Netflix, which is owned by the Obamas. So, but okay, so let's like get to the rest of this. This is how you should act, by the way, when this guy tries to like, when you know that, okay, this guy's doing a hit piece, but you know what, I'm gonna make this, like, I'm gonna use this to build my platform even more. That's the only thing you can do. So
does this trailer actually have comments?
I can look. I don't know.
I'm raw, I'm not a puppet, I'm not controlled. I don't do this bullshit editing that you guys do, because I'm real.
Are you getting triggered?
Oh, so they see that guy basically called him on it, and he put it in the trailer. And he's like, "Are you triggered? Is this really a thing we're doing now? What year is this? 2014? Where they try to tell us actually you guys are the ones that are triggered. Ha ha, gotcha. Why are you so mad?"
I'm taking you out of context and turning your words inside out. Why are you so triggered by that? I'm lying through editing. So triggered.
Well, he even said, yeah, I mean, we don't do the editing. We're going to be real. And look, I don't know who that guy is. Maybe there's going to be some, like, maybe he got caught with some shit. Maybe there was a hot mic or something. I don't know. But it's true. Like, obviously, these guys, they always do this. They always edit out the stuff that doesn't make the narrative fit, and they leave in the stuff that does. And then they use music to manipulate you. Music and editing and, you know.
Is there anything further in this, or is it just?
I don't know. I'm seeing this for the first time.
Oh.
No, that's it. That's a Netflix logo after that.
Okay, let's see the comments.
All right, we close this.
No indication of any kind of morality.
There is.
Oh.
How to be outside the system. Bro is a slave to the system. Yeah, like these people are buying into it. I love a good Netflix doc, but I'm not sure this is enough migraine meds in the world to get me through this one.
Let me see what's actually going on.
Not part of the system. We're doing it for money. Yeah, that's exactly what the system is. Yeah, because what we should do is not make money and then defy the system that way. Okay, well, good luck eating. And I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Always me. There are people who think they really have it figured out. Like, well, man, money's fake, bro. Just live without money. It's like, no, we can't do that though. Like, you can have your criticisms of the gold standard and all that other shit, but we still have to eat. We still have to live somehow, right? Lewis using stoicism on narcissists made my day. Yeah, it looks like everyone's buying into it.
Yeah. Well, it's probably AstroTurf, but honestly,
Lewis being the manliest of them all is so funny to me. That was exactly the goal. That was exactly his goal in this trailer, and this guy, never the boot, ate it up.
Yeah, this is I have a serious suspect about this, about the comments here. But regardless, let us do the article.
They're bots, you think? Or paid for?
Probably.
Fair. Yeah. They could be curating the comment section. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's look at this article. So again, I haven't seen the documentary yet. Plan on watching it.
And and I want to point out, still no conversation about domestic violence that men face, sexual assault that men and boys face, the draft, homelessness, failure in school, right? The complete
self-harm, addiction, suicide,
and
false
also
allegations, attorney fraud.
The marginalization of men actually identifying as men. Like just being able to be masculine without constantly being harped on as that being a wrong category of being, right? All of that's completely ignored by this. Bunch of guys want to make money to attract dames, and the world that explodes. But all of this other stuff that is actually stuff that we need to address to start fixing the fault lines in our society. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to have a Tea-Tums festival, poke fun at the Manosphere bros, and then call it a day. Oh, the problem's solved. And the funny thing is that they've constructed this. By breaking the association between men and their ethics, and a recognition that men have an ethical system that's valuable, that they bring something to the world, they've made a situation where the average man is seen as subpar by the average woman. Therefore, there are no relationships really forming, or not sufficient numbers. There's no children being born. And you have whole generations of young men who have absolutely no access to family, right? None, or a stable relationship. Generations who then have a desire to live vicariously through these dudes that have plenty. Well, where does that pressure come from? You think that Manosphere would have been around in the 1950s when the average man was married by the time he was like 27? No. Right? That there would be no market for it because the average man had access to a family, had access to a steady relationship with a woman, had reasonable access to all of those things. Now they don't. Thank you, feminism. And there's a huge amount of them that want to live vicariously. Why do you think these guys are so performative? Because they are performing for an audience that's hungry for a scrap of something that they used to get just by virtue of, being a man who is willing to step up. That's not a little thing. I'm not saying that's a little thing. It's a big thing. But where are the women willing to step up to? Feminism killed them. Oh, I use the word K, the kill word. That means that we are going to be double demonetized. Okay.
All right.
Actually, one more thing. This has been haunting me since we did the Byrony response. Byrony wants the beauty industry to be a horrific holocaust that men do to women, right? She wants men to have the same kind of guilt and shame over the beauty industry as they should have over sex trafficking children. In neither case are men really responsible for it, but let's just leave it at that, right? She wants men to feel ashamed that the beauty industry exists, but she does not want women to feel at all pressured or judged for choosing to drive the beauty industry with their products. So simultaneously, she wants to use it as a moral bludgeon against men. But there's a problem with that because women might feel bad for being the ones driving this industry. So women can't feel bad for choosing the thing that is the most horrible thing to do to women, even though it's their choice that makes the horrible thing. And the reason why men are providing these things to women is because they want to eat. They want to survive. They want money to exist. And that's non-negotiable for men, right? So this is the framework that Byrony wants to exist in. Maximal moral obligation to men, minimal and no condemnation of women constructing the situation that men are responding to. Okay, I just wanted to get that off my chest because it's been haunting me. I was like waking up in 3 a.m. I'm like, oh God, why didn't I say that then?
Okay. So let's look at this article from The Guardian called "Surely if you rule the manosphere, you can't be your own boss, or you can be your own boss. These influencers aren't even that. Content creators claim they've escaped the 9 to 5, as Louis Theroux's new show reveals, but are mere serfs to algorithms and audiences." Yeah, like anyone who runs a business has to be essentially serving their clients. So yeah, what are you talking about? Unless, of course, you are Ellie Hunt, who probably just gets money from men unquestioningly, but whatever. I mean, the only way I could imagine it is if that was the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's a job. You might escape the 9 to 5. Do they really claim that? I think content creators are very clear that it is a difficult job.
I don't know what. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Unless you didn't watch because in the trailer, I think this guy said like escaping the system or whatever, right? Or like these guys have said that, but I think they mean something else. And granted, again, I don't know what these Manosphere guys that she specifically talked to believe. I seriously doubt they're as informed as we are on like the actual issues men face. No, I'm saying that with complete confidence. Like I'm sure they get like other things like how to invest and like how to stay in shape or whatever, how to attract women. They're younger guys, but like the real things that are like killing men every day, they probably don't think about that because because these guys are still operating within the feminist framework that is all about the removal of all morality, or at least like not treating it as seriously. Definitely no accountability for women. Women are completely liberated, or at least we're working on it. And so therefore, these guys can operate in as materialist and selfish as possible because that's what gets them to win. That's how they win at the game. But that means that they don't look at the men who are suffering. They don't look at the larger picture. They will probably make themselves vulnerable to an awful divorce or allegation at some point in the future.
That'll be the end.
Yeah, that's what will probably happen at some point. And I mean, some of them deal with that now, right? Like I think I'm not saying Andrew Wilson is part of the Manosphere.
The 21, I think it was the 21 Club. Do you remember the 21 Club imploding over a woman? Was it the 21 Club? Yes, it was the 21 Club. Yes. It imploded over a woman or something happened. There was a bunch of the Manosphere guys, and I guess a manipulative woman got in there and managed to destroy a lot of stuff. And it's like, yes, that is something like guys like this usually have a very similar trajectory. They get a woman who has no morals, and she has no morals. And at some point,
that's the space they're operating in.
Yeah,
so either that or they end up lifelong bachelors. They don't find a woman, but then they are vulnerable to a number of women. So yeah. All right. Anyway,
let's keep going.
Let's get into the article. Who wouldn't want to be an influencer? You're famous and maybe even rich just for doing what you'd be doing anyway. Working out at the gym, hanging out with your mates, and mucking about on the internet. You get paid to say what you think, or at least sent free stuff, and no one's telling you what to do. Surely only a sucker would do anything else. At least that is the influencing dream, and many young men are buying into it. Women also want to be influencers. In fact, I think women are more interested in being influencers than men, probably, because they'd be much better at it. It's easier for them.
And many young men are buying into it.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be, again, you're absolutely right, Brian. It's not young men. It's just young people who are buying into it. And you're right, women are doing more of it, except when they're influencers, it seems like their butt cracks are more salient for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if you are I think that to be a content creator as a man, I think that you'd have to really provide something of value. And like, so if you're doing fitness content, then you better be super fit, like super fit, right? To the point where people are like, are you on gear? And you probably are. Actually, I think this guy might be, because I can see on his chest there's some acne that's covered up, which is usually a side effect from gear. But anyway, but if you're and if you like do something else, like if you make money and you're talking about that, you have to be rich. Like there's like, I think that men can absolutely be content creators, but the bar is very high. You have to be really charismatic or really funny or really talented. But with women, you just have to be willing to get naked or at least show some skin, and you're going to be fine. I'm sorry, but it's just true. Like women don't have. There are some talented content creators out there that are women, but
it's not necessary.
A lot of it's not. Like a lot of the times they just couple that with if they have a talent, they might just couple that with their looks, and that just like doubles up on their, on their impact. I mean, but anyway, okay. Content creator has for years been cited as the most desirable career by Generation Z and now Generation Alpha. Interesting that they're not splitting that up into by gender, because I think that women, I remember seeing a study about this, and I think it was Gen Z women that overwhelmingly wanted to be content creators or influencers, but the men less so. I think that there was some that did, but I think the women were the majority. And whenever they take out the sex of something, when they just say it's been the most desirable career by Generation Z and Generation Alpha, you notice that they don't say whether it's men or women. That already tells you that depending on who it will favor or disfavor is actually probably the truth about what it is. So
it wouldn't be favorable to their argument to report the fact that women want to be influencers more, which makes perfect sense, because influencing is a very social, performative thing. Like no matter how you slice it, the guys in that video were social performers, right? And that is a very feminine thing to be attracted to. Men tend to prefer to do things that affect outcomes, like build things. Create, like dig holes in a beach for no other reason than to see how big the hole can get, right? To drive trucks, to do things in the physical world. That's why the productive layer is 99% male. Like the people who are closest to and most responsible for all of the commodities, infrastructure, all of even the finances that support the commodities and infrastructure rather than financialization, they're men, right? That is a male layer. And it's because men are more drawn to that. Men are not usually drawn to showing themselves off with their sunglasses. It's not something that comes naturally, except for, performative men. There are them. There are men who are like that. And it's not like, I don't want to diss them. But for the most part, that's not a masculine thing. At least from what I've seen.
No, I'm inclined to agree with that. I think that for the most part, men who are online, they're men who are building something, they're creating something, or they're teaching something. Like maybe they're history content creators talk about history, or they talk about science or something. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like bodybuilding, although there's plenty of that. But like, it's usually the men that are showing you a skill that they have worked hard to learn, and they're kind of like sharing it with people, right? So they're not, I mean, like if they're more attractive men, they're probably going to do better, but it's not like that's the thing that they're selling you, like there's like cooking shows, right? Cooking YouTube channels. And there's this guy named Cowboy Kent Rollins. He's like this cowboy guy, and he like works on the grill, and he lives on a farm or a ranch with a bunch of other, like literal cowboys, and he makes barbecue, and he's like an old man, but he's super nice and patriotic, and he's super friendly. He's like somebody you'd like to know personally, but like he can cook though, so like the other stuff helps. but he's not a Giga Chad. He's like an old man, right? So he's just wise or whatever.
Yeah,
so, yeah. I think that it's definitely like a different animal.
Yeah, and I think like even when you look at men doing YouTube, influencer, like just an outright influencer, like those guys we just saw were more like influencers. I mean, maybe they had some fitness and maybe some financial. I would be skeptical about how useful either was. But what they're really showing is I got the lifestyle that you want and you can live it a bit vicariously through me. But that's not even, they're much more of the YouTube channels I see men making are like you were talking about the barbecue, the cowboy.
Yeah, or like how to do something with fix your car.
How to build a log cabin.
Life hacking stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
How to build a log cabin. Music, like having an interest in music
and presenting music. How to train your dog.
How to train your dog.
Stuff you can use.
Yeah, stuff you can use. But that's much more common for men to be on that end of the spectrum than the influencer end of the spectrum. And now she is trying to pretend that the influencer end of the spectrum is driven by men because she wants to say something bad about it. Let's be honest here. Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
The preferred platforms might have changed over time, with streaming on Twitch and Kick now supplanting posting on Instagram and YouTube, but the aspiration remains the same: to escape the drudgery of a desk job. But Louis Theroux's new Netflix documentary reveals the catch. Though focused on the misogynistic online manosphere, it is equally compelling as a grim look behind the curtain of influencer production, revealing it to be, at best, shabby and at worst, soul-destroying.
Why?
So there's actual work behind it? Is that what you're saying?
Like, okay, let's see if she operationalizes that. Also, it's interesting how they're trying a different vector for attack. They're trying to make it so that it's actually still part of the system. And you notice how this guy is like, oh yeah, I'm more masculine than these. I'm doing stoicism while you're being a narcissist. And again, they choose these guys. They're not choosing to interview people who've talked about the issues that men face, people who like me, who specifically talk about how the abuses and exploitation of the productive layer, which is 99% male, is going to lead to a destruction of our society. Like there's no way we can continue this. They don't talk to people like us. No interest. They're just talking.
They're trying to discredit us by attacking this stuff.
Like they could do it. They could equally do. And in a documentary on Bonnie Blue and the other one, the one who the like the arms race between Bonnie Blue and Lily something.
Lily Phillips.
Yeah, their arms race or penis race, genital race, fist race. Like you could do a documentary and show how freaking shallow and vapid and narcissistic, and in case Bonnie Blue's case, I think it was Bonnie Blue, how she might actually be grooming underage boys. But regardless, like they don't do that. Like if you want to go to people who are shallow and vapid and say, hey, these people are shallow and vapid, there's plenty of women you could go to and do a freaking shallow, vapid documentary on. But they are choosing, and they're choosing to frame all of these issues through these guys. Right? And it is itself a manipulation. Let me put it that way. Okay.
All right. Theroux's featured creators claim to have seen through the false promise of conventional careers to find success on their terms. Yes, they have all the trappings: pools, girls, luxury cars, and watches, and jaunts to Dubai, though the last may be curtailed now. But going behind the scenes, you see what is absent. Huh?
Well, civilians are being bombed.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But going behind the scenes, you see what is absent from the social media highlights and edgy viral clips. Life as an influencer is often banal and just as much of a trap as a standard 9-to-5. It's also much harder to get out of.
What?
Work is work?
Yeah, work is, so basically it's as banal as a 9-to-5, but you also get like bikini girls, pools, luxury cars, and watches. Okay, so it's exactly the same.
It's still a job though, guys. I mean, sure, you get like a big house and a luxury car and watches and girls and pools, but to say that you've escaped working. I mean, you're not making the case against this. Like, sign me up. I'll be an influencer. But I know it's not that easy. See, I can't just do that.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, like, the girls, they benefit. And they literally don't have to have jobs. They could be like Wendy's employees. Like, they could just work at the local Chipotle, and they'll be able to stay at this dude's mansion and, like, get rides in his car and chill out on his boat. And that, but of course, we're not going to talk about that because for whatever reason, women getting things for nothing, it's not empowerment, I guess.
I also want to point something out, right? She's saying that the job is not what it's cracked up to be, but is she going to say that they're being exploited by the industry? No. She would say that about OnlyFans models, though.
Yes, they would. And also, by this same logic, then the CEO of, like, a corporation that also works like 12-hour days, but also has pools and luxury cars and watches, is he also a victim of the grind? Is his life banal? Oh, wait, that's too much sympathy for a CEO, though, isn't it? Can't have that. So we're just going to not talk about that.
Yeah, I'm actually sympathetic to not having too much sympathy. It depends on the CEO.
Well, I know that you would say that because of the recent work you've been doing, Allison, but I'm saying, like, these people just hate CEOs, period. They just hate the idea of people working for money. Even, yes, there's corruption and all of that. I get it. But this is not what she would be attacking. She's just talking about, fat guy, pinstripe suits, smoking cigars with, like, lighting cigars with $100 bills. That is a cartoon, but that's what they see as every man that runs every company everywhere all the time. And so, and according to this author, this belief system, they're suffering. Those guys do not work. Like, they just make money off of the backs of the workers who are yet to rise up against their oppressors. So what I'm saying is that if she's trying to paint these Manosphere guys as, despite all of their riches, they're actually, like, victims of the system, then you would also have to apply that to the CEOs that they hate. Yes, the corruption exists, but I mean, that's going to be a issue no matter what.
It's government collusion with
exactly. Though the real problem is the government. Yes, that's the problem.
Okay, but ultimately, you're right. She's laying the framework for sympathy for people who get all kinds of stuff from their labor, because it's still banal. Well, who cares? I mean, they're okay. All right. But I think what she's really saying is that they're patsies. Let's be honest. She's not going to say that this is a men's issue.
No, of course not. And also probably that they're too stupid to realize, like, it's kind of like a veiled insult.
Stupid to realize that they should be working a banal 9 to 5 and not having bikini models or a wife or a big house or plenty.
They should be earning what a regular guy does and doing just as well with women.
Yes.
Which is not at all well. So, okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right, anyway. Even the Manosphere, characterized in the mainstream as a hotbed of dangerous misogyny, might more accurately be characterized as a large-scale grift, as Thoreau told The Guardian.
A large-scale grift.
How is it a grift? How?
It's because the people who are saying it are grifters.
Oh, I see. So,
it's like the thieves always see everybody as a thief. Like, it's...
So we've labeled them grifters. Therefore, whenever they talk, they're grifting.
I guess.
What grifters do.
All right. Let's keep going.
All right. Though it undeniably harbors toxic views, it is perhaps best thought of as a masculine counterpart to the female-focused online world of wellness, with influencers peddling an aspirational image and with it, products and services. So it's like wellness for women, which I guess then that means that Thoreau should do a documentary on women's wellness influencers that sell, like, creams and...
I fucking hate this man's face. The way that he's looking at this dude. Like there was this subtle concern and contempt and skepticism. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so punchable. All right, keep going.
All right. For many in the Manosphere, the misogyny seems almost besides the point. Like racism, homophobia, or anti-Semitism, let's just lump all those together, it serves only as a button to press to generate attention and profit. Oh, kind of like how you guys press the button to like silence people and maybe get them assassinated. I guess, like I'm just saying, I mean, if it's a button that has power and you can use it to make profit, but you guys are using it to get people murdered when you say anti-Semitic or racist or sexist. You know, do you remember when Nick Fuentes, you guys know who Nick Fuentes is, right? You remember Nick Fuentes is like a paleocon kind of like, I don't know, he flip-flops a lot, but the point is he's a very like fringe voice online, and he's been going on and on about, you know, like black people and Jews and all this other stuff, right? But and the LGBTQs, I think, I don't know, I think he's one of them maybe. But the point is, no, he's claimed that he's had like death threats done to him, but the one time someone actually like showed up to his house to murder him, and he had to like get the police involved, and it was like caught on camera. The one time that happened was because he made that viral comment about owning women's bodies. It was almost like all the other stuff people were upset about, but they were willing to forgive. But when they realized he hated women, or at least they suspected it, somebody was ready to take him out. I'm just pointing out that sexism is like the line. It's like the biggest line. It's like the one you don't cross. You'll get censored for other things, right? Especially if you're in England. But man, say something about women and they'll send a guy to your house with a gun. So anyway, I'm saying that they're saying it's a button you can press to generate attention. I think that's a confession, though.
Yes.
I think it's a confession that they know that the button works for them in another way.
Well, yes, they know because they keep hitting the button of men oppress women because they know it gives them money and clout. All right, let's get some more of these paragraphs. Let's get through these paragraphs. There's so many. There's so many.
Well, yeah. Take the main case study in Thoreau's documentary. 24-year-old Harrison Sullivan, or HS Tiki Taki. I guess that's this guy right here. Maybe. No, that's somebody else. Okay. To his audience of hundreds of thousands across TikTok and Kick, HS is not just living the dream, but selling it too, showing off his built body, harem of bikini-clad models, and life of leisure in Spain. He tells his typically young followers that they can achieve the same for themselves by signing up to a dubious investing platform. Sullivan takes a cut even if they lose money. Relative to, well, okay, but again, like...
Who's losing out here? And who do you actually give a crap about?
Yeah, I mean, if men are doing this, you have to ask yourself, like, why? Why are men doing this? Why do they think they have to do that?
Well, why do they think they have to make money, be built? And why are they giving money to a man who's promising them even though he's not delivering? Oh, okay, next paragraph.
All right.
I thought we would get through this without Andrew Tate, but apparently not.
Come on, Allison. Come on. He's like the final boss of misogyny right now. Relative to arch villains like the accused sex trafficker Andrew Tate, who denies wrongdoing, he hasn't been arrested yet, or even the looks-maxing provocateur du jour Clavicular, Sullivan is small fry within the Manosphere, but perhaps also more representative. He comes across as more motivated by lining his pockets than he is restoring men to the rightful place in the social order.
A place in the social order. A place. Any place. Any kind of legitimacy at all as a category of being. Right? Any place at all. Not defective girls, but their own category of being that is legitimate. That, would have has persisted as half the human race over the entire course of our genetic lineage. Don't you think there might be something valuable to men? That's what they're doing. Of course, this isn't really about that because they're not really challenging anything. They're just presenting a vision of plenty that men can live vicariously through. They're not actually challenging the problems that create the situation where men don't have partners, they don't have children, they can't get married. Not interested in that, right? But like, this is the thing. Like, it's not just their rightful place. It's any place in the social order, right? Any recognition of the value of men that this woman doesn't want to see happen.
No,
Okay.
she doesn't.
I'm done. There are many
he comes
paragraphs.
across as more motivated by lining his pockets than he is restoring men to the rightful place in the social order. And though he routinely broadcasts himself saying and doing outrageous, offensive, and cruel things, it is seemingly only to provoke a reaction.
And operationalize those things. Like, where's the evidence?
Yeah, I'd like to see that, but I don't think we're going to. With the attention, I can get more fame and monetize, Sullivan explains to Thoreau. He doesn't believe the offensive things he says, Sullivan maintains, but it's also irrelevant. He can profit off it. By the time he is Thoreau's age, Sullivan says he wants to be valued in billions for the sake of his future children. All right, so let me just comment on this. So let's say, and I think it's true that a lot of people say, a lot of these guys and a lot of people online in general, they say things to provoke a reaction and it gets them to go viral and they make money. This is like what people do on X. There's like, it's like one of my main criticisms of X is that if your posts get engagement, then you can make money off the posts. And so there's a lot of rage bait on X, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. If you know that you're saying something specifically to provoke a reaction, then why do we react to the things that he says? So if we thought that what he was saying was bait and we ignored it, or that it wasn't like anything of any like substance, like they were just saying racist things online, then or sexist things, and I didn't have a problem with it, like I was just like, whatever, I would not be contributing to the fame and monetization. But the people who do are the people like the woman who wrote this article. You guys are the ones that are making it possible for him to make money because you get upset about the things that he says because you don't like it. That you are the reason he makes this money, and you don't have. That's why you don't really have a solution either, because the only solution would be he shouldn't be able to say that.
Yeah, well, that's the solution they want. But here's the other thing. Like, Paul Elam used to say very controversial stuff, although the thing is that it would be controversial, but when you actually read it, it would make a lot of sense. And he did that in order to get attention from the media for the issues that men face. And now these guys are using the same tactic to make money. And they're paying attention to these guys because they don't want to face what's underneath all of this. Right? And you notice how that it's kind of evolved, and they're going further and further afield. So you have Paul Elam, who, had solid information and a reason for what he did. And if you actually read what he was putting forth, you would see it. But of course, the media would only latch on to the most sensationalist interpretation. And his point was to bring attention to the issues that men face by being salacious. And then you have, like the pickup artists, and that they take another layer of actually trying to get attention to something. And now we're at these guys using this to simply make money. And they're the only ones being paid attention to now, because this entire system doesn't want to look at, and it doesn't even want to look at the fact that people respond to this with outrage because he's targeting women, right? Nobody likes women being targeted except for me, because I'm a perverse person. But I just, if somebody tells me I can't do something, I just got to do it. But nobody likes women being targeted. That is pitchforks moment. That's when people get their pitchforks. Like Brian was saying, that was the moment that Nick Fuentes was not long for this earth, according to, people, right? That was the button you press to send somebody armed and willing to kill to someone's door, right? That's always been the button. And they don't want to acknowledge that. And they also don't want to acknowledge that if misogyny is a problem on Twitter, misandry absolutely eclipses it. Like, misandry, in comparison to misogyny is a yurt. and misandry is the Death Star. Like it's institutionalized, it's paid for, it has a paper trail, and there's all kinds of female influencers who've made gigantic audiences off of hatred and contempt for men, overt hatred and contempt for men, condemnation of men as an inferior class of being morally, all of that. And of course, this article is not going to look at any of that. Just like it doesn't want to see that women are the majority of people who want to be influencers. Okay.
All right. Later on, two baby-faced Tate fanboys tell Thoreau they looked to Tate for advice on how to build intergenerational wealth. No job is going to be able to give you that, one says. The thing is, he's not wrong. Declining social mobility and stagnating wages have made it next to impossible to improve your financial position through work alone. Again, notice they're leaving out the gender aspect of this, which means it's actually probably affecting men more than women. Because the truth is that women are getting jobs. They're more likely to get them. They're better educated, or at least they're more likely to get an education because the education system serves them. Plus, even if they don't get anything out of it, they can just marry a guy that has it, and then they're set, basically. So men don't have that option. So when they say stagnating wages have made it next to impossible, they're trying to criticize the system, but they're not acknowledging that that's probably affecting men. And I guarantee it, if we look this up, that's what it's going to say.
Yeah, it is. Like the subprime crisis hit men worse. Obama tried to put through an infrastructure bill and was shot down by feminists because it would primarily have helped men. Right? Okay. This situation is because we are engaging in extractive processes that are destroying the productive layer of society, right? And the productive layer of society is the primary way that men are employed, and we are destroying it. Okay. And women can find jobs as excuse makers for this destruction, but men aren't as useful for that, which is why women are like the majority of middle management now, because they're basically the shield for this destruction. They're the ones who are putting out the fog of war so nobody can actually gain traction and start pointing fingers at this extractive layer that has developed. And specifically this extractive layer that has developed because the Fed backstops too big to fail companies. I'll just be really frank. Because of that, these companies engage in bad financial bets that they know they're going to be bailed out of. Okay. And then as a downstream result of that destroys the productive layer of society, which is the primary employment for men, or one of the most important employments for men. And that's this. And that nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to talk about it. Until everybody's humiliated by a massive failure, then maybe people might start talking about it.
Yep.
Or maybe we'll just have to encapsulate this knowledge and hand it off to when the dogs start their own civilization. Okay.
All right. The influencer marketing economy, meanwhile, is a potential gold mine valued at $21.1 billion in 2023. Clavicular reportedly earns $100,000 a month from streaming on Kick alone. There are women who make more than that, though, a month, by the way. And they're not even like OnlyFans thoughts. They're just like on Twitch. I think like people like Amaranth or Belle Delphine or whoever it is, even like I don't know. There's like a chick that has Tourette's that makes probably more money than this guy, like whatever. So, I mean, to say that, again, you're trying to put the blame on men here and women make more. But here's the thing, though, too, is that I don't think this is necessarily good news, because influencers that are just entertaining people or just being themselves, like they're just up there cooking or whatever it is they do, jumping jacks, they're not creating anything. So it's like, it's worrisome because the money that they're getting is coming from somewhere, and it's probably coming from people who are actually producing things, right? Or at least are part of an industry that produces. And I'm not saying that being an online content creator is not productive, because obviously that's what we do. What I'm saying, like, it depends on what it is you're creating. Like, if you are sharing information or philosophy, or you are I don't know, like, you're informing people in some way that's useful, or entertaining people in some way that's like, like that requires some planning or skill. I think that you could argue that those are productive, creative ways of, like, contributing to and creating value, because culture is value as well. But if you're just like, I don't know, like you're just, just
Showing
talking
off
about
your
your life,
lifestyle.
showing your asshole, whatever, I don't think that's producing anything. So it's a bit worrying that's where all the money is. It's kind of like,
Oh, what? 21.1 billion is nothing.
yeah, it's
Like,
probably not much. Really.
feminism probably rakes in, between the divorce industry and all of the industrial applications of feminism, probably rakes in over $1 trillion a year. Like, and all of the HR and PR and the usefulness for feminist handmaidens to hide institutional theft. Ah, God, they're probably making well over $1 trillion a year.
Oh, I'm sure they are, and I'm saying that's that, but that's not producing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's obviously not. It's draining.
Yeah. No, but I get what you mean. I wouldn't worry too much about that with the male influencers, though. Let's we got a ways to go. Let's
All right.
step
Too many
up.
young people faced with a lack of opportunity and grim outlook. It may seem like a cheat code akin to marrying rich, as young women are increasingly aspiring to, with the Manosphere's conservatism reflected in the rise of trad wives. Certainly, it may yield a better return in investment than climbing the career ladder, or a costly, time-intensive degree. Well, yeah, but like, again, men are not. They don't benefit from college. That's why they're not going. Like, there was a study that's saying women are getting a higher education, but men are also realizing that college is a scam, and so they're not going to college. And you're saying, oh, it's a time intensive and it's costly. It's like, no, they're checking out of that. That's obviously not good. They don't even like education now. And yeah, women are marrying rich, but I like how they frame it as aspiring. Women are aspiring to marry rich.
Oh my God, there's another.
There's
another article. Would you like me to cry now? Louis Theroux on the Manosphere Marriage and Misunderstandings. Most daring documentary maker, really.
That's, I think, how he's framed. So
yeah, I'm starting to be bored with this article. No offense.
No, I mean, I didn't write it.
Yeah, I'm just. Let me look at this. Let me see if there's anything further to look at. Let's see. Guardian. We rely on the generosity of our readers. Oh, well, too bad then. Okay. So Sullivan tells Thoreau he dropped out of uni to sell online fitness programs, was soon making $1,000 a day, prompting the shift to streaming. He wound up influencing not just because it was his passion, but because it was the quickest path to riches. He soon found out the more provocative the content, the more profitable it was. If I'd done just good things, I would never really have blown up on social media, he says. Sullivan is contemptible, but he isn't stupid. He knows what he does is no more complicated than sales. All right. Sullivan spends his days narrating his workouts, having slack-jawed interactions with his entourage. Couldn't call them friends, and prowling the Marabella Strip. Okay.
Sure,
though he
whatever.
prides himself on not having a boss, Sullivan is arguably less autonomous than a salaried employee, existing at the mercy of algorithms. No, madam. It's arguably less is weasel words. You mean not at all as autonomous as a salaried employee. Yeah, Sullivan isn't as autonomous as an employee who probably has to clock his bathroom breaks. Right, okay. When Thoreau asks Sullivan why he does not want to try to be a good person and lift people up, he responds with a mix of defiance and fatalism. I'm not living for other people, I'm living for myself. Watching him be puppeteered by his audience, it's his best disingenuous, but even if he believes it to be true, it's also not much of a life. Really? Okay. So what life should he have?
But isn't like everything about what women are supposed to be doing right now also living for themselves? But we don't consider their existences to be hollow? Is that not also, if you're saying his life is hollow and sad, then are you not saying that's true of all women that are also just looking out for number one, which is like what all women are told?
Can I make an observation? Most of these guys are not white.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're not going to point that out. So
No.
it's just like the incels. It's likely the case that the majority of incels on the incel forums are not white. They're like African, they're Indian, they're black, they're Latino. Not Latino, we do fine. But like they're black, Latino. I'm just kidding. But like the majority of them are non-white, but like they have to be framed as white. The Manosphere documentary, if it's going to reveal anything, it's that, yeah, like a lot of these guys are not white.
And this guy is trying to conflate Jordan Peterson with the one dude with the wife is white. And the
Which
wife
guy?
in the glasses. Do you remember the glasses?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, he's white. All right. Okay. What would you expect? What do you expect? It's the usual bullshit from the usual suspects.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, the lift yourself up to your bootstraps narrative.
The question is like, what is the point? I have to watch it still, but what do you think the point of Thoreau's documentary is? Like, what is ultimately where he's supposed to, where he expects the audience to land on this? Like, what is their impression supposed to be? And why? And it comes down to a number of things. Why did he pick these specific men to focus on? Even this article that talked about that Sullivan guy, she uses that one guy's story to tell the story of everyone in the Manosphere. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Like that one guy is indicative of all of them. And of course, anywhere that there could be like where there's opportunity to make money, you're going to get people that are going to try and leverage it in their favor. Anywhere. It doesn't matter what it is. But like, what's the purpose of that? So,
yeah. All right. I mean, there's this other article, but I think it's better to probably watch the actual
documentary.
Yes, I have a problem with nouns. The entire category of nouns perplexes me. Okay, but I think I'm like, how much should we say about this? They still don't talk about what needs to be talked about. This is a digression. It's a distraction. And they don't even hit on what the real problem is here. Why do young men want to pay these guys this money? Right? If these guys were making you rich and giving you access to these women, then why is the situation the way it is? Right? If this was working, if what these guys were doing was working, the birth rates would be higher, there would be more marriages, there'd be more stable family formation, but it's obviously not. So, and nobody in the media wants to ask themselves, why are these men making so much money on just presenting the appearance of financial wealth, the appearance of having plenty of women, the appearance? Why are they making so much money at this when they wouldn't be if men had actual access to family? Like, why would guys be watching this if they actually had women's attention, women's interest, they actually had family, actually had jobs that paid them enough that got them to the point of being able to support families? They wouldn't be. And why would men be watching this if they're so concerned about the morality of all of this? When men actually were allowed, weren't considered defective girls and were allowed to develop their own set of ethics based on who and what they were as men, right? They wouldn't be necessarily watching this kind of content if it was immoral. Like, I don't think the guys on that panel were necessarily interested in this kind of content. They wanted to start families. And that one guy wanted a woman who had some kind of values, right? I think they all probably did. The one dude with the one-itis just wanted the one girl that he's orbiting, but they're all ready to step up and be their half of a partnership. No problem with morals there, or ethics. And yet they're out in the cold. Right? They don't have partners, but these dudes do. Something's wrong. And the media doesn't want to talk about that. Okay.
One other thing too, this guy, Savile, Louis, whatever his name is, Louis Theroux, not Savile. Louis, I was thinking about the other guy. Louis Theroux, he has 3 sons, and he says that his first encounter was with the Manosphere was through his sons, 20, 18, and 11. So his sons are consuming Manosphere content. I think he's trying to stop them, and he's trying to make a documentary to like steer his sons away from that. I think that you're gonna have to listen to your sons, bro. Like actually hear out their issues. Because if you have 3 boys and you don't know what men's issues are, then you're fucking your boys over. I'm just letting you know. And that's why they're going somewhere else to find answers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, they're filling the
void.
void.
Guy, the other one, yeah.
They're filling the void with something, right? They're filling the void with.
They're looking for answers. They want the truth. They're tired of getting shit on for being men. And these guys, like the Manosphere, is a lot of things, but you know, there's probably something they get that's of value. And I bet that they're watching people who are actually more substantive than the ones that he's featuring in his documentary.
Yeah.
And he's choosing those guys because he wants to like tear it down. Just talk to your sons, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's okay, so once again, if you want to send us this message, Kat is insisting on something, but I don't have any treats to give her. If you want to send us a message, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Very best way for you to send us a message and a tip with that message, if you so wish. Look for feedthebadger.com/support to help us out, to make sure we can make our monthly fundraiser. And badgernation.online if you want to join us in our community and maybe see some more pictures of her. All right, so I'll hand it back to you, Brian.
All right, so is the fundraiser up?
Not yet. It'll be out there though, eventually.
All right, no, it's okay. All right then, so if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we talked about on the show today. Did you watch the documentary by Louis Theroux? Let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Have a good one, everybody.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.